This slightly different, slightly special episode is a send-off to the ancient Assyrian series. Me and Carl went to the British Museum to have a look in person at the Assyrian reliefs there, on different types of Assyrian reliefs. So this episode comes to you from the British Museum, and I hope you enjoy.
You can just see what a highly militaristic culture they have. Even on the bronze inlay, it's just us sacking cities, taking prisoners. Like, you can come in and see a full-scale relief of what we did. It's just all they do.
And
this is Shalmaneser III.
yeah. So again, it's sort of well, they're Neo-Assyrians, aren't they? But it's from
858 to 824.
yeah. So they're Neo-Assyrians, but they're still a couple hundred years or more to go before the end. And even wood is relatively rare. Well, not rare, but
we've got to report it.
It was. It's not like they had endless wood like in Northern Europe. So to be able to put your hands on so much cedar was really quite something. And even in the castles made by someone like William the Conqueror, say, didn't have anything on this scale.
No. If you were a peasant walking into this,
this does speak of someone that's sort of a conqueror of the world.
Yeah.
The amount of confidence, sort of the inner confidence you would have, sort of a boundless or endless confidence to commission something like this.
You can see why the Assyrians had a high opinion of themselves. Well, I just love that all it is just captives and soldiers, and just look at these guys with their arms bound behind their backs.
Just any and every opportunity to remind people you're not to be messed with.
Yeah,
essentially.
And there's just parades of soldiers and captives, people being trampled over. The king there receiving all of the goods. I mean, they could have just left these as plain bronze, but nope, we're going to have it. So we've got the Assyrian army there taking a city. It's just the most militaristic culture I've ever seen. This is good stuff. People bringing tribute to the king. Because, of course, not every time you'd have to go and conquer the city. A lot of the time people would just bring you stuff because they were like, yeah, okay, here's the tribute. Little monkey there.
And another one on his shoulders.
Oh, yeah.
In ancient times, all across the Middle East and Egypt, people would have dogs and cats as pets and monkeys.
Yeah.
Quite often, that was quite a common thing. To have a household pet is a small monkey. You wouldn't want an ape necessarily, but a monkey, sure.
It cracks me how human-esque they draw the monkeys, like the face and the hands and the feet. They're just basically human feet.
Yeah, very, very human hands.
Yeah. We're very familiar with horses and cows and bulls and severed heads. Monkeys, I haven't seen many of those.
And it's interesting to see you'll notice their fashion. So he's got earrings, he's got quite a stylized moustache, and obviously the beard.
Look at the work that goes into the beard. I mean, I never spent nearly as much time on my beard as these guys did. And this guy as well with his flower bracelets. It's not a watch.
I think that is Ashurbanipal.
Quite possibly. I mean, look at the robes. I mean, look at these tassels. Look at the size. Look at the sword. It probably is Ashurbanipal. Yeah. He's got a torque on his arm there. Bull heads.
Yeah. On both arms.
Yeah. He's got a pair of daggers on his waist and a long sword. So the king is always armed himself.
Oh no, it's Ashurnazirpal.
Oh, Ashurnazirpal II. I like the hand just resting on the hilt of the sword. I think that's very interesting.
And like even the details of like his nails.
Yeah.
Zoom in on his hand there, John.
Yeah, get the details.
You can see like the cuticles and
Yeah.
his fingernails and everything.
So this is a court scene from 865 to 860 BC from Nimrod for Ashurnasirpal.
So during his reign.
But like you can't be destroying cities all day every day. Sometimes you have to actually administer the kingdom, which means being given like I don't know, is that a drink of some sort he's been given? And you can see the guy there with the fan. See the blessings of the god there.
An offering or a
Wings.
libation.
Yeah.
That bag is interesting, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what Graham Hancock has said a lot about those bags.
Yeah.
Because you see them depicted. There's quite a few, even in my line of sight right now. Quite a few of these different bags.
But this is where
and
I have
he suggests. Sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry. What was he suggest?
Well, he suggests. Well, we don't really know exactly what they are, what's going on with them, what they depict. But he suggests there's all sorts of. It says sort of much more ancient rituals, much more ancient cultures pass down their knowledge through a priestly or scholarly class, and that these bags, these handbag things, were sort of very important.
I'm going to venture that small bags have been used independently by lots of different cultures all throughout time.
But it's obviously really important because just literally within my eyesight, there's like you can see 4 different depictions of them. So it's obviously really quite important, whatever it is.
They probably carried like the incense or something like that.
So you can make the argument, is that important enough that you would need to depict it over and over again and put it in the hands of some of the most important people in your world? Why would you depict that necessarily?
But that represents a god, right? So it's literally a winged figure with a pine cone.
So anything a god holds is sort of couldn't be more important.
Yeah, it's undoubtedly got some sort of ritual significance. But what I've just noticed down there is you can actually see some of the paint.
Yeah, there's some paint surviving there, John. Get
on
that.
The feet. Actually, nice set of colours as well. You can see the paint on the straps as well, so you can see how they would have painted themselves. And the sandals. Yeah, I don't ascribe that much to the bags. No, that's
fair enough.
The bags.
I mean, I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't know.
I feel like Hancock does embellish things a bit.
I'm not saying he's embellish.
You just don't know. That's yeah.
Oh yeah,
and his calves that ridiculously hench calves.
I mean, is that meant to depict Asher himself?
I think it might be.
Yeah.
I think it might be.
It's like the what they're calling the winged protective spirit. Well, yeah, he's going to be a Giga Chad as well. Yeah, look at Asher. Which one was it? Asher Nazapal, yeah. Look at his forearms. And the totally unperturbed look on his face. Like, I literally have an empire of terror, and it doesn't faze me at all. You know. What I find interesting is notice how the eunuchs have always got a bit of a double chin. All of the eunuchs are a bit chubby. I just find that interesting.
Is that because you lose loads of testosterone and get loads of estrogen? If you're a eunuch.
Yeah.
And so you can't help but put on a little bit of
baby fat sort of thing. Puppy fat. And so the eunuchs are always depicted kind of a puppy. But notice they're armed as well. They're his guards.
Some of the detail on that sword hilt there, there's a fair amount of detail there. They've got quivers of arrows, right? That's what those are.
Yeah.
So they're heavily armed eunuchs.
Yeah. Got their bows. I love the detail of the handle of the sword. That's great. The sword's relatively long as well. Considering this would have been literally the Bronze Age.
Even though I said earlier that, it's quite a realistic, well, very realistic form of depiction. Also, they're deciding to keep it in profile, and it's still low relief. That's if you get too close. If you get too close, the little alarm goes off.
Right, okay. Yeah. But sorry, go on. Sorry.
So yeah, it's just a funny mixture of being realistic, sort of as realistic as they can manage, you would have thought, and still heavily stylized at the same time. As I say, sort of 2D almost.
I find it
or
interesting.
in profile at least.
I find it interesting how the writing is just stamped across the whole thing, like on his fingers in the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the spirit's carrying in the bag. But maybe it's just more pine cones.
But look, there and there.
Yeah.
It's very deliberately added in. Like it's of key importance. I can get why Graham Hancock would make the argument that there's something more to it than just, it's just a bag. People had bags. There's something more. There must be something a bit more to it than that.
Possibly. I just find it interesting how they're winged. Like, sort of biblical angel style wings.
Well, if it is Ashur.
And there are two of them, so it's unlikely to be representative of Ashur himself.
Well, they depict the same thing,
Wow.
like sort of over and over.
Yeah. But no, it says giving him a pine cone. I mean, that's weird, isn't it, right? Why a pine cone? Well, it looks like a pine cone anyway.
Yeah. Well, we don't, like I said earlier, even the experts sort of say, we think it's this. They'll say, with quite a lot of confidence, this is what's happening here, this is what you're seeing. Well, it's actually quite often a little more than an educated guess.
Yeah, well, look at the detail on the end of the scabbard. It's two lions. And that's amazing, isn't it?
South, covering 7 to 10.
I love the writing here. This is from the Northwest Palace at Nimrud, built by Ashurnasirpal II, 853 to 859, portraying the Assyrian king as invincible and under divine protection. Proof that he wasn't. The king takes an active part in every inevitable victory. We always won. A magic figure, the god in the winged disc, accompanies him. That's Ashur.
See, where we said earlier, it could just be Ashur twice. Well, here that it does say exactly that. You've got Ashur there and again there.
Oh, really?
So then, again with the pine cone thing, if they are indeed pine cones, what significance it meant in Assyrian culture?
We don't know.
I don't know. Perhaps some Assyrian scholars do know, but I don't.
The winged sun disc. Oh yeah, look, you can see the trim on the cloaks and stuff carved in. And this would all have been painted. The necklace that he's wearing there.
Yeah, that's quite an ornate neck decoration.
Yeah, holding a rod. It's a symbol of office. It's pretty great. Got an eagle head and a pine cone and a bag. And thunderous legs. I think the wings look fantastic.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And what it might have meant, because it's incredible for us just to look on it now, but also what it might have meant in the minds of people of the time looking at it. Whether it was something to be feared or something to be loved, something to be revered, or whether different elements of society would have had different levels of
Sort of reverence and awe.
of reverence for it. Yeah, you know, like in most societies, even in the ancient world, some elements of society were more pious than others. You know, some might even have mocked it or scoffed at it. Who knows? You know, like in Roman times, you have sort of in the early empire, people would laugh and mock the gods. You know,
I get the feeling you probably weren't allowed to be terribly impious in ancient Assyria.
Well, we just don't know. You know, you've got people that like Juvenal or Ovid who are sort of just openly subversive as much as they could be even. They would just laugh in the face of the priestly orders.